I began subletting a rental cabin for a couple of months in 2023 after a falling out with my dad left me needing a place of my own. The cabin belonged to someone dealing with personal issues, forcing them to leave temporarily. Let's call him Ethan. It was a cozy setup, a small kitchen, a decent living space, and a single bedroom up a quirky little staircase with a hatch-style door. The cabin sat at the end of a lonely dirt road, with a few other cabins scattered nearby. One of them seemed vacant, and while I knew people lived in the others, I hadn't met any of the neighbors. I worked long 12-hour shifts, and after getting home exhausted one night, I ate a quick snack, climbed up to my bedroom, and shut the hatch door as always. Something about leaving it open made me feel exposed. While watching TV in bed, I heard a voice from below. "Who's up there?" I froze. The voice was so clear that I couldn't tell if it came from inside the cabin or just outside. My heart raced as I crept to the small window above the bed and peeked outside. Nothing but darkness. Summoning courage, I called out, "Who's there?" Silence answered me. I lifted the hatch door and cautiously peered down the staircase, calling Ethan's name, thinking maybe he'd returned. No response. I slowly descended and turned on the lights, but the living room was empty. Confused, I locked the front door and headed back upstairs. Minutes later, loud, angry pounding rattled the hatch door. My heart nearly stopped as I realized someone was definitely inside. Frozen with fear, I couldn't even move to grab my phone. When I finally found the courage to check, my phone was missing, possibly left downstairs. Against my better judgment, I opened the hatch door slightly and glanced down. Shadows from the TV flickered across the room below, but no one was visible. Barefoot, I crept down the stairs, unlocked the back door, and sprinted to a neighbor's house with its lights on. I banged on the door and saw a man peek through the window, watching me without a word. His silence unsettled me, and as I backed away, I wondered if he was somehow involved. Returning to the cabin, I grabbed my phone from the car and went inside, locking every door and turning on all the lights. When I climbed back to the bedroom, my blood ran cold. A man was sitting on my bed staring at the TV. He turned to look at me, and I bolted out of the house, calling 911 from my car. Police found no one inside, but I spotted a figure retreating into the woods. I left the cabin the next day for good, questioning Ethan's reasons for leaving, the creepy neighbor, and how it all tied together. It was a Tuesday night in 2013 when I found myself walking home on a dimly lit road in the small southern town I lived in. My car was in the shop, so my nightly routine involved a 3-mile trek through lonely streets and dirt roads surrounded by dense forest. That night, I heard the distant hum of a motor as I turned onto one of the dirt roads. About a quarter-mile back, I spotted a van moving slowly without its headlights. At first, I thought nothing of it. It wasn't unusual to see old vehicles with broken lights in my town. But then the van suddenly roared to life, its lights blazing as it sped closer. Just as abruptly, it slowed down and killed the lights again before turning onto my road. A chill ran through me. I picked up my pace, glancing back to see the van had stopped, its doors swinging open. My heart pounded as I sprinted into the forest, weaving through trees and tripping over roots. Then I heard voices. "She went into the woods," a man said. Another voice, feminine but eerie, replied, "We'll find her." I crouched behind a boulder, covering my mouth to stifle my breathing. The man spoke again, his tone dripping with menace. "Whoever finds her won't have to drink the blood tonight." Fear turned my blood to ice. Was this some kind of cult? The sound of sirens in the distance was my only solace. When the red and blue lights finally reached the edge of the forest, I ran toward them, shouting for help. But relief turned to horror when I saw what the officers had discovered. A mutilated body near the road. The van was gone, and though I gave the cops its license plate, they later told me it was reported across multiple states that same night. To this day, I don't know if it was a sick cult or something far worse. It started like any ordinary evening. Sarah was home alone, her parents out for the night. The house was eerily quiet when the phone rang at midnight. She hesitated before answering, and then a raspy voice whispered, "I'm watching you." Her blood ran cold. Slamming the phone down, she locked all the doors and windows, telling herself it was a prank. But the phone rang again, This time the voice said her name. Sarah! Panicked, she grabbed a kitchen knife and retreated to her bedroom. The house groaned in the silence, every sound magnified. Then came a loud knock at the front door. She crept to the peephole. No one was there. Her phone buzzed with a text. Nice pajamas. Frozen, she glanced down at her flannel pajamas, changed into just minutes ago. She yanked open the curtains to see a figure under the streetlight. He began walking toward the house. Grabbing the emergency gun from her parents' room, she heard glass shatter from the back of the house. She dialed 911, clutching the phone as footsteps echoed outside her bedroom. "Leave me alone!" she screamed. The footsteps stopped. When the police arrived, they found the back door open, but no intruder. They called it a prank. But the next morning, Sarah noticed a chilling sight. A single handprint smeared on her bedroom window. Whoever had been watching her wasn't done.